Pharisees went out and laid plans to trap him in his words. They sent their disciples to him along with the Herodians. "Teacher," they said, "we know you are a man of integrity and that you teach the way of God in accordance with the truth. You aren't swayed by men because you pay no attention to who they are. Tell us, what in your opinion is it right to pay taxes to Caesar or not?" But Jesus, knowing their evil intent, said, "You hypocrites, why are you trying to trap me? Show me the coin used for paying the tax." They brought him a denarius, and he asked them, "Whose portrait is this, and whose inscription?" "Caesar's," they replied. Then he said to them, "Give to Caesar what is Caesar's, and to God what is God's." Usually our British coinage carries a picture of the sovereign. Actually, our style of coinage is based on the Roman style of coin, so there would have been a Latin inscription that included the emperor's names, his titles, and a picture of him. And quite important in those days when there were no film or TV cameras to broadcast his image to the people. And without the picture on the coins, they would simply not have known what he even looked like. So the stage is set here for a drama where Jesus outmaneuvers his opponents by making reference to the Roman coin he holds in his hand, a silver denarius. That was about the average pay for a day's work in those days. And in this drama, there are two groups of people. Both of them are out to get Jesus. First, the Pharisees. Now, the Pharisees were devout Jews who were scrupulous in their observance of God's law as they understood it through reading the Hebrew Scriptures, our Old Testament. But on the other side were the Herodians. They were the supporters of the puppet ruler, King Herod. We don't know too much about the Herodians, but we do know that King Herod and his family were unpopular with the Jews, so we can suppose that his supporters, the Herodians, were almost certainly unpopular too. They would have been seen as Roman collaborators and would be as unpopular today as any collaborators in an occupied country, as this country was in those days. These two groups would usually be arguing and fighting with each other because they had so little in common. But here they come together, united in their hatred of Jesus. To begin with, they're quite fawning, telling Jesus that they know he's sincere, that he teaches the way of God with truth. They sound so very suspicious, don't they? But they approach Jesus and they try to trick him by embroiling him in the hot issue of the time. Is it lawful or not to pay taxes to the emperor? Well, a sickly sweet introduction, but now they intend to force Jesus to side with one group or the other, either with the revolutionaries working to drive out the Romans or with the collaborators who profit from that occupation. If he disallows payment, he leaves himself open to charges of sedition and treason, but if he encourages payment, he loses credibility and the people's respect. But Jesus recognizes the dangers of their question and immediately says to them, "Why are you putting me to the test, you hypocrites?" Now, it's a good guess that this particular denarius that Jesus shows to the questioners bore the head of the reigning emperor. That was Tiberius, because Jesus asks whose head is on the coin and whose title, and the simple answer comes back, the emperor's. On that particular coin, the inscription would have said, Tiberius Caesar, son of the divine Augustus and Augustus. Another wow. The Romans claimed divinity for their emperor. This scandalized the Jews who believed in only one divinity, God. When the people reply that the coin bears the emperor's head, Jesus makes his now famous statement, "Give to the emperor what is the emperor's, and give to God what is God's." So consider what Jesus is really saying. He's not saying that it is right and lawful to pay taxes to an occupying force, but something far more subtle. If we give to the emperor the silver coin the emperor has created and which bears his image, then we must give back to God what God has created and which bears his image. Us, ourselves. So this encounter has shifted from an attempt to trap him in an endless and weary controversy to an unavoidable realization that we must return our lives to God. Each one of us is made in his divine image, and each one of us owes final and complete loyalty to God and to God alone. And if we do not do right by our connection with God, then we have no hope of doing right by any other relationship either.